Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Ram Limited with the Night Edition package. I think some of you guys might have a little bit of sticker shock with this one. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Doug Smith Dodge Ram here in American Fork for giving me some time with this truck. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood is the high output Hurricane, which is a 3-liter inline-6 twin turbo that goes through an 8-speed. Fuel economy is 15 around town and then 21 on the highway. Power outputs are 540 horsepower and then 521 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys can see with this Night Edition package, you got the cool venting there. And then I really like this badging. So you got 1500 and then just HO, right, for high output. Well, it says SST at the top, but it's all blacked out, so it's not as visible, but I don't know, it's cool, I think. Now I've got fancy headlights. Look at this. Yeah, overkill, but I like it. Blacked out grille, you've got recovery points, fog lights. Just a good looking truck, especially in contrast with the black and the silver. Now our tire wheel setup is 285 by 45 by 22 in the front and over in the rear. And you can see here with the wheels all blacked out, really cool design there. And then you do have air suspension because it's limited. Anyways, painted fender flares, you got the Ram badge, it's blacked out. Mirror caps also blacked out. Door handles also blacked out. Take a few steps back. Side profile I think looks pretty darn sharp. Now this leads us to the key fob. We have our lock and unlock function, tailgate drop down, air suspension lowering, remote start. We'll press that a couple times and that'll lower that down. And then we do have Ram boxes with this, as you can see. The other side has the outlet system and they are lockable, which is nice. And then I'll show you guys the taillight animation in a little bit. But yeah, we've got a decent amount of bed space. The Ram boxes do rob some of the side space, but again, you have compartments, so you don't really lose space, just compartmentalize. Tonneau cover with this, and then I think this has the automatic up function. Yeah, there we go. Just had to lift it up a little bit more. But yeah, really cool looking rear end with the blacked out everything pretty much. And then the taillights. Actually, maybe I have to lock it first. Yeah, there you go. It does the opposite. So then I'll unlock it and it'll... I don't know, I think that's kind of fun. Now the inside of this truck I think is quite beautiful. So you've got the black trim here. Now, the brown wood trim does kind of make things a little bit funky. But anyways, look at this. It's kind of like a burgundy maroon type color. I'm not good with colors, folks, but it looks good. We've got the power side steps. And then same thing with the seats with that color. I'll show you guys the name of it a little bit later. But yeah, more storage underneath. We also have, you know, ice buckets with this, limited with the floor mats. More of that kind of wood trim there. Heated and ventilated seats for the rear. We've got our own climate zone, all of that. Tons of space. These seats also recline, so it's very luxurious in the back end. So yeah. And this leads us up front, which, oops. Anyways, again, you've got more of that cool trim and everything. We've got all of our window controls, front to rear automatic. You got memory seats, massaging seats, mirrors, power fold in. Bunch of speakers here for the sound system. Blind spot running with the mirrors. And then payload capacity on this truck is 1173. Towing capacity with the high output is just under 10,000 pounds. And then here is the front seat. Perforated all down the center. Got your adjustments on the side. Light controls here with the pedal adjustment down below as well. So taking a look at the steering wheel, nice trim all around. Got a little bit of wood there at the bottom. Radio controls on the back. Bunch of practical controls in the front, including for our adaptive cruise control. And this has the lane centering and everything where it will steer for you. Your gear limiter, drive mode select. You got controls for the center, which here's a quick look at that center. So full digital gauge cluster, just like other loaded up Rams. You can do digital view or analog view depending on what you want to see. But yeah, basic vehicle information, pretty standard setup. And then we also have a heads-up display as well. While we're in this area, you got nice trim all across the dash. You got some fancy quilting there up top, carbon carton for the sound system. And then we do have a 360 camera system with this one. So that definitely helps out quite a bit with parking. And then yeah, big infotainment system. So analog controls for the climate on either side, some radio controls built in as well. And then you have some shortcut buttons here at the bottom. So this is like basic screen tabs there. And then down below, you've got the buttons for the parking sensors, the air suspension, trailer brake controls. It's kind of like physical and screen, which is interesting with the integration. And speaking of screens, yes, passenger screen, that is also a part of the truck. Anyways, we got the dial shifter here with our advanced four-wheel drive system. You also have your auto stop start as well. When I say advanced, it has four-wheel auto as well as four-wheel low, which is nice. Bunch of USBs, really large amount. Outlet down below. And this slides, which is always nice. And you got some fancy wood trim on top. Limited there with all of the stitching. And good storage overall. You have the storage here at the bottom with the glove box, but you lose the top because of the passenger screen. Camera rear view mirror, just normal headliner, but we do have a power sliding rear window and then a panoramic sunroof. So here's a quick look at the window sticker. You guys can see 2025, 1500 limited. And the 9 edition is 4245. Anyways, 88,345. So this is just a little bit less than the new Tungsten. So yeah, let's drive it. Well, let us set off in this Ram Limited. 360 camera system's nice. It would be nice if they could somehow integrate it to a larger camera view. But, you know, the price you pay for the vertical screen. I will say, this is the most comfortable vehicle I've driven through this dirt lot today. Maybe that doesn't mean much to you guys, but just the suspension is very smooth. I like it. I like it a lot. Aside from that, of course, the interior here is really nice. We've got massaging seats. I mean, nice materials, and you'd hope so for, well, after taxes, surely $90,000. Crazy how expensive these trucks have gotten. But yeah, it's a nice place to be. And I think this is probably my favorite limited. I reviewed that Tungsten. I did like that Tungsten interior. I think I might like just the coloration on this. I think I might like this a little bit more. But maybe I'll need to do a comparison since if you guys want to see that, let me know. This versus a Tungsten, because they're almost the same price. I think it might just come down to the sound systems, right? Which sound system is better. But yeah, interesting setup with this. And this is a random point, but I've been talking to people why they changed this. It just comes down to warping. This synthetic stuff won't warp over time like the real leather. And so that's why they've changed like the dash and everything else. Yeah, there's no way this Tesla person lets me in. Zero chance. But there we go. We finally got in line to sit at a stoplight. I will say something to note. The traction in two-wheel drive, obviously it's two-wheel drive, but still not as good as I would expect for how wide the tires are in this. That's just something that's, you know, interesting for me to note. Kind of looking around here, they actually, I think they might have made this interior nicer than before. Seems like more of the upper trim is covered, so you see less plastic in this compared to before, which is good. Oh, this engine's smooth. I've said that in the past, but yeah, it really is quite impressive. And it makes a lot of sense with this truck. It's kind of like smooth suspension, smooth powertrain. You get good low end torque, transmission's smooth and quick to respond. So it really does give you a luxury experience unlike what you get in any of the other truck makers. And the insulation is pretty good too. Yeah, it's nice. It's really nice. Ooh, we'll get a stoplight race here. Let's pop it into the Snow Toe Sport. Yeah, there we go. We're gonna show these people what this Ram is made of. We may not have Hemi power, but we got Hurricane power, right? That counts for something. There we go. A little bit of lag. Whoa! Man, this rips. That is quick. There's a little bit of lag, you know, to get those turbos to spool, but man, once this thing gets up into those turbos, it's quick. So to sum things up with this, let's put it back into two-wheel drive. We can do two-wheel drive on the fly, right? Yeah. I like this truck a lot. I think it looks good and super nice. I like this interior. This is probably my favorite interior, like I said. It drives well. It's got great power. This has a lot going for it. It's expensive, though. It's expensive. I mean, this is... So I bought a Ram TRX in 2021. This is $6,000 less than what I paid for that TRX. You know, in terms of the MSRP pricing. And that TRX was fully loaded. So, just crazy, the pricing. And the acceleration, it's also crazy. Look at this. This is in normal mode. This engine really is cool. But yeah, they've definitely gone crazy. All the truck manufacturers have. So let me know if you think if it's worth it. What I will say is it's probably the best luxury truck in the segment right now.